So one of the things that I wanted to demonstrate was how I will resize my images for my website. So when you have a website, it's important to have images that are very similar in size, a little uniformity, and that it's very easy to get images that are too big or not the right dimension. So if you look at my website here, notice when you go here, the slideshow, all the images that come up are the same size. It makes nice so when you go from page to slideshow, it doesn't adjust in size. The content's all in the same place. It just looks very good. I also make sure that the images fit inside the slideshow. Nothing's worse than having an image that only shows very part of the image and crops so much of it out that you can't really tell what that image is. So having good quality images that show what you're looking for on that slideshow is important. You obviously notice here, I have all my services have the same size as well. I could make them different sizes, different dimensions, but what makes them look good is when they have the same size. Same thing with the blog posts. You'll notice that they're all square, but they're all the different dimensions, but they're all the same size. So I want to show you a tool that I use to basically create my images for my website, and it's very easy to import images from a camera. It shrinks them down to the right size, but it also will make them their same dimension so they all look exactly the same size on your website. So starting off, we'll talk about the slideshow image. So for this slideshow image, what I use, all my images, I use a website called Canva, canva.com. It's a free website. They do have a paid version if you wanted to pay for it, but I still use the free version. It works just fine for me. So the first thing I want to do is create a design. They do have templates and stuff for like social media and posters, but they really don't have anything that's exactly for a website, exact size setting. So I'm going to create a custom dimension. The width that I use for a slideshow is 1120 by 450. Now, let's say that you don't like the slideshow image that I have. You want something a little bit bigger. You can make it taller. So let's say one of the 1120 by 720 pixels. Or if you want it very big and you want it to be more square, you can do 1120 by 1120. The thing that the website's going to do is 1120 is probably a little bit bigger than this, and the website will shrink it down to fit in here. So you just want to make sure it's bigger than the size that is being displayed. Obviously, if you notice, if you go to more of a mobile view, get that out of the way, you'll notice that shrinking that down, that slideshow changes the size of it. So depending on the size of the page that you're viewing it on, it does automatically resize it to the screen. So you just want to make sure it's big enough to fit the biggest screen possible, which 1120 is by far enough. So 1120 is a good size. The height, you can be whatever you want. The important thing is that every slideshow has the same dimension. So if you make it bigger, just make sure every single one uses that same layout, and they're all the same size. So let's make this one a little bit bigger. Let's go 720. We're going to create a design. So you'll see that's the slideshow image. It's going to be more of a square. It's a lot bigger. They have a lot of templates you can use here. So if you wanted to make a slideshow that had some text on it, there's things like here. You can click here and switch out the image. Switching images is very easy. You have an upload section here. If I could click it, a little tricky. So you have an upload section here, has images that you've uploaded, and you can just drag them over to that image and place it in there, and it replaces it. Obviously, that image is not the right dimension, but in these templates, any images that are being used, you can just drag the image that you uploaded into there. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all these, and we're going to basically just kind of from scratch. So what I do is I like to go into the elements and grid. So if you'll notice, I don't have one, but let's say you have a lot of images that are very tall and you want to put 2 or 3 of them together. They have these grids that make it very easy. Here's 2 images right next to each other, or you have 3 images right next to each other. You just click and it adds it right in there. And then when you go to your upload section, you can just drag the images, drag your images right into there. Obviously, these are not the right dimension, but now you have 3 images side by side, And if you double click, you can resize them, make them bigger or smaller. Obviously, if they're this tall, you'd have to have images that are tall to fit that a lot better. But it gives an idea of how to use the tool. So what I like to do is for a slideshow, usually I'll just do one image, and I'll come into here, and then you can easily just find an image that you want to use and just upload it, drag it in there, and it'll automatically upload it. And once it's uploaded, you can just drag it on over there. So that makes it very easy for creating a slideshow. And then then the next image that you have, you can download this. This can be your first slideshow. You'll see that it downloads the image. And then let's say you want the second image to show on the website. So you'll go here, upload your second image, and then you can drag it over. Now obviously you can see that this doesn't fit perfectly in there. It does crop it a little bit. So let's say you have something that's a little bit smaller and you needed to adjust it. You can double click the image and resize and drag the image around where you need it to be to fit that image to have the exact same size every time. So there's a lot of things that you can do. You can flip it. A lot of adjustments they have. And you download the second image. So you have two images downloaded side by side, and they're both the exact same dimension. So that works very well. Canva is a free tool to allow you to be able to create images for your website that keep the same uniform size. Another place that I've noticed a lot of issues is products. So when you have products on your website, you want to make sure it's similar to this, where the product images are all the same. So what I would do for a product image is I would come back to the Canva homepage and I would create my own custom dimension. But this time I want something that's a little taller than it is wider. So for a product image, 650 pixels wide, probably plenty big enough. And then I'm going to do 850 tall. I'm just making this a number up. You can play with the set dimensions to kind of see what dimension works best for you. So now this is going to be a product image, and I'll come in here, add the element. I'm going to have a single image on each one, and then I'll go down to, I've already uploaded a couple, so we'll go down to the ones that I've uploaded that have balloon bouquets. So for instance, upload that image into there. It doesn't quite fit, so I'm going to delete that. Another option you have is if it doesn't fit in there, you can add the image, delete that element, and just drag it in there manually. You can see that it fits right on there, and you can resize to the exact same size. So this will give you a product image, and you can see that product fits perfectly. You can center it, so you know it's centered. It gives that center line. And I have a little more room at the top, so I'm going to make that a little bit bigger so it squeezes all the room possible. I know that's centered right there. So that's a product image, has a white background, and I can download that. And I make sure it's as big as I can get it, but I know that dimension of that image is what I want for the product image. And then I will upload, I can delete that, use the same canvas because you want the same dimensions, but then you put the other image in there. And you can notice there's a lot of white space here at the top, so I'll expand it to make it a lot bigger so that the balloon actually hits the top. Drag it down, center it, and then I have my second product image. And then, for instance, let's say with this one right here, let's say you wanted it was a little bit smaller. You can literally make the image as big or small as you want. That's the image that it would show, but the image size is this full image. So when you view it on the website, it's not going to push things down. This works very well for bouquets that are very narrow and tall. You can drag them in here and give it a little bit of extra white space on the side so that it shows very well on the website. And then you'll notice this is the image that you downloaded, and you really can't see the white space on the side. So when you upload it to your product, so we're going to add this image here. Oops, wrong one. Okay, there we go. So I have two products images, and they are both the same dimensions and same size. And then when you save that, it works very well. Nope, it saves that image. So that's a good way of resizing images and making sure that the image size that you're uploading looks good on the website. If you're uploading images and they're very tall and they're not, you can't see the whole image on the website, that means you need to make them a little not quite as tall. So hypothetically, let's say you wanted to bring that down to something more square, 650 by 650. And then when you upload the images, they'll be a little bit smaller because the actual canvas size is not quite as big. So you can play with the dimensions and kind of get what works best for you and what works best for what you're uploading on there. Something that's square is always going to be a good size for that. So if you have any questions, feel free to send an email to support@balloonsuite.com. We are definitely here to help with any questions that you might have. But hopefully this helps you find a way to better organize your images for your website so they all are uniform and they all have a good, solid, uniform size for the whole website.